Hello. So I'm going to wait for just a second. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this session uh, for IPMAT and JIPMAT. This is Verbal Ability. We are doing para summary. My name is Abhilasha, and I welcome you to this new year of 2026, where we are going to be starting off with your wonderful prep once again. So let's not waste any time. We will talk about para summary and we will cover some questions based on para summary. Okay. I hope that's fine with you. Yeah. So, what are we going to talk about in this session? Let's try and understand this. Uh, Today, we are going to, okay, if you can see me and hear me, quickly give me a yes or no also, right? So, I know that I'm audible, visible, and can be seen. Let me check if I'm audible and visible. All right. I am able to see and hear myself. So good for that. Let's do this. So, what is a para summary question and what is it that we need to do here? Now, in a para summary question, traditionally a passage is given to you, a small paragraph. Okay. A paragraph of about anything from 80 to 150 words is given, right? Uh, Now, in this paragraph, of course, what your task is that there are four possible summaries that are given, and you have to identify what is the correct summary, right? Now, uh, how do you identify what is the correct summary? So, what is the process going to be? I will tell you very quickly. So, to do the summary, first read the passage. Okay. Once you've read the paragraph, try and identify what this paragraph is about. So, what is the subject of the paragraph, right? Then, once you have identified what the subject is, a lot of options are eliminated because of the subject. So, therefore, you must identify what the subject of the passage is very, very correctly. Then, once you've identified what the subject of the passage is, you must also identify what is it that about the subject that the author is talking about. So, what is the author talking about? So, these two things you will find out. Okay. Once you have got these two things, you've more or less identified your summary of the passage, and therefore you're almost, at where you needed to be. Now, what else would you need to do? Well, it is very simple that once you've identified what your summary is, then you have to match with the options, right? So, you have identified the summary, then you match with the options. Okay. And come to the correct options. Okay. Now, when you're matching with the options, the process of elimination becomes very important, right? What is this process of elimination? We've discussed this in class also, but I'm going to quickly take you through our concept of elimination. So, BEAST is the thing that you need to remember. BEA S and T. B stands for broad, something that is very generic, or narrow, something that is very limited. E stands for extreme words. So, words like all, always, no, never, none, will, must, necessarily, and so on. Right? So, broad statements, narrow statements, extreme words in your option. Okay. Anything that is alien, alien means not in this passage. Okay. So, alien statement, eliminate that. Then anything that's a sidetrack. Sidetrack means it may be mentioned in the passage, it may be from the passage, but not related. Okay. So not the summary. So it is something that is from the passage. It is given to confuse you. It is a distractor. Okay. So that, and then something that where there is a tone mismatch. A tone mismatch is the passage is positive, your option is negative, or some such thing. And then, of course, you will also have the contradictory or the false option, something that is patently opposite what the author has said. So you also eliminate the contradictory or false options also. Okay, so these are the 5 6 things that you will remember. Anything that's very broad, anything that is extreme, alien, sidetrack, and tone. Remember beast, it becomes very easy. And then anything that is contradictory or false. Eliminate all of these and you come to your right answer. Okay. Okay, guys, can you quickly tell me if you are able to see me and hear me? Give me a yes, all those who are here. And I hope you've already hit the like button and shared the session with your friends. Some of my students from class should also be here, guys. All right, so let's take a look. Here is a small passage. I have just created this question today. So I have a small passage and I've given you 2 options of which one of these is going to be the right answer. So your task is to identify which of these is the correct answer. Okay, so let's read this together and try and identify. In David Fincher's most mainstream film, The Social Network, an aggrieved ex of Mark Zuckerberg tells him that the internet isn't written in pencil, Mark, it's written in ink. Okay. Disappearing ink, perhaps, given how difficult it has become to search for useful or accurate information, let alone its source amid the hallucinatory derangements of artificial intelligence. Media literacy has never been more important, and society has never been lazier. Okay. So what he's saying is, in this very interesting dialogue, a lady tells Mark Zuckerberg that probably internet is written in ink. That means it is permanent. Whatever you have written is permanent. It's not written in pencil. But the author says, but now this ink is probably disappearing ink. Why does he say that? Because it appears to him that in this world of AI, most of the data is not really sure. AI is just giving you any information and we are taking it. So it is very important for us to be media literate, and also very important that we be very proactive. And society has never been lazier. So we are lazy now. Okay, so let's take a look at our options. Artificial intelligence has blurred online truth, making media literacy essential amid growing societal complacency. Okay, so he says that artificial intelligence is blurring online truth because now it is disappearing ink, making media literacy essential, and socially we are complacent. Okay, looks good. Let me look at the second option. The internet's reliability is eroding due to AI. Okay, so internet is less reliable now because of AI. Even though society becomes increasingly careful about verifying information. Now, this of course is false. Why? Because the author has said society has never been lazier. So they are probably very careless about verifying information. So this second part of the option is actually false, right? And therefore B cannot be the right answer. So A has to be the right answer. And therefore, I do hope you did get A as the right answer. All right, I'm going to take you to the second question. Now, this one you will read and solve by yourself. Okay, I'm going to take you through the passage, but the options you will have to find what is the correct answer for me. Half a century ago, Ur music could be written off as a faint footnote to twin seminal 20th century currents. So, Ur music was not really important 50 years ago. Why? Because Igor Stravinsky was bringing in neoclassicism and Arnold Schoenberg was bringing rigor, but no longer. So now you are not writing off Ur music. John Luther Adams, among the most esteemed present day American composers for orchestra. So there is this very famous, respected composer, embraces something like it. So John Luther Adams has accepted and is using something like it. And his forebears are people who came before, okay, include composers of renewed consequence. So composers who have suddenly become very important, their relevance has become important. uh, Jean Sibelius in his primordial tone poem Tapiola, and Charles Ives in his unfinished universe symphony. So now ur music is no longer something that you could write off, it has become very important. Okay. All right, let's try and read these options and identify which of these will be the correct answer. Once marginal, Ur music has regained importance through modern composers and now influential early 20th century precedents. Ur music, previously dismissed, now holds relevance for contemporary composers and earlier pioneering works. Let's read and identify what is the correct answer. Try and identify for me what will be the correct answer. Come on, guys. I hope you have all liked the session. If you haven't till now, then just make sure that you do like it. All right, now if you look at this set, he has said that half a century ago, Ur music could be written off. So it was not important because there were two very important currents that were going on. But now, no longer. Okay, so let's take a look. Once marginal, Ur music has regained importance through modern composers and now influential early 20th century precedents. Okay, they are now influential, correct. Renewed consequence. So, yes, Ur music, previously dismissed, now holds renewed relevance for contemporary composers and earlier pioneering works. Now, the problem that is it holding renewed relevance for these composers, or are these composers bringing it out? So, it is regaining importance now. So, therefore, B is incorrect and A is the correct answer. Okay. So, your correct answer will be A. All right, let's read this third question and try and solve this one. So, artificial intelligence has vast potential in marketing. It aids in proliferating information and data sources. So, AI has a lot of scope in marketing. Now, it helps how it proliferates information and data sources. It improves software's data management capabilities and designing intricate and advanced algorithms. So, it designs those. AI is changing the way brands and users interact with one another. The application of this technology is highly dependent on the nature of the website and the type of business. So it's very important, huh? Marketers can now focus more on the customer and meet their needs in real time. By using AI, they can quickly determine what content to target customers and which channel to employ at what moment, thanks to the data collected and generated by its algorithms. Users feel at ease and are more inclined to buy what is offered when AI is used to personalize their experience. AI tools can also be used to analyze the performance of a competitor's campaigns and reveal their customers' expectation. So essentially, he's saying that AI is very, very useful in marketing because it is helping you do real time work, right? Let's take a look at our options. Option number one says AI transforms marketing by enabling real time personalization, data driven targeting, and deeper understanding of customer and competitor behavior. Looks good. Through advanced data analysis and personalization, AI reshapes brand customer interactions and enhances strategic marketing decision. But does it reshape brand customer interaction? No, it actually creates those, okay, or it redefines them. So between again A and B, A is a better choice than B, so we will eliminate B. All right, let's look at the next one. Question number 4, I think. At the beginning of autumn 2023, Yulia Lemeshenko stopped appearing at the Kharkiv gym where she trained most days. A driven athlete whose talent for weightlifting led her to become the champion of Ukraine in 2021. Her disappearance prompted confusion among her training partners. Months later, she resurfaced in a Moscow courtroom. So, from Ukraine, she's come to Russia now. Accused of plotting sabotage and assassination in Russia on behalf of the Ukrainian security services. Prosecutors claimed Lemchenko had blown up power lines outside St. Petersburg and had later traveled to Voronezh, where she was taking out a Russian Air Force commander with a view to killing him. Okay, now this is very interesting. So, Ukrainian weightlifting champion vanished, later reappearing in Russia accused of sabotage and assassination plan. Okay. The sudden disappearance of an athlete ended in her prosecution in Russia for alleged Ukrainian backed attacks. Okay. Did it end in? We don't know if it ended in her prosecution. See, it says ended in her prosecution, but she's not been prosecuted, right? So, therefore, can I say that B is a better choice? No. Also, it is important that you understand and you mark that she is a Ukrainian. So, therefore, again, between A and B, A is a better choice. All right, let's look at this one. Now, this is a very interesting story about how urban that heat is actually getting trapped, and therefore nights are as hot as the days are. Okay, the heat doesn't go down really. So let's read this. In cities worldwide, the streets tell and the landscapes tell a new heat story. So there is something very different that's happening. You walk down an avenue designed for the flow of people and commerce, now empty under the unrelenting glare of the sun on an afternoon. It's empty. It feels like that the air is stagnant, stuck between the high walls of buildings and houses that release the heat they have absorbed for the whole day. So it's still very hot. Well into the night, even after many hours after the sun has gone down, the heat is still very strong. It has not dissipated. Fields and cultivation of flora once lined the outskirts of the cities where plants were supposed to play a role, along with the dissipation mechanism in cooling the surroundings and housing the heat of the day. But now the vegetation is burnt, it's frail, and it is lifeless. So those fields which are one very beautiful have faded because of this heat and the drought that is happening. Now, because of this, natural cooling and moisture retaining effects have gone down. The arid sceneries are no longer softening the heat, so they're actually adding to it. So they're actually spreading the heat into the city. So essentially, what should have been a cooling mechanism is no longer a cooling mechanism, rather, it is heating the city. So let's take a look at our options. Urban heat intensifies as scorched vegetation and built environment trap and radiate warmth long after sunset. Okay, I'll put a star on this. Rising temperatures and drought have totally stripped cities of natural cooling, turning urban landscapes into persistent heat reservoirs. Have they totally stripped cities of natural cooling? No. So this is an extreme word, guys, right? And therefore, B cannot be a good choice. So then we come back to A and say, okay, A is our best choice answer. All right. So that brings us to the end of today's session, guys. I hope that I've been able to help. Remember, while you're doing a summary, beast is important. Please remember that. Also remember that a summary must have all the key points of the passage. Okay, all the key points. And it must not have any examples or names or data unless the passage is about the data. Okay, so remember that. All right, that brings me to the end of this session. Thank you so much. Remember to hit like, share, and subscribe. And also remember to join me again next Monday, same day, same time, same place, Monday, 8:30 p.m. for yet another session. Thank you so much, everybody. I will see you next week. Bye bye.